Hey beautifuls, Hannah here from Reality Awareness. If you don't know me, say hi. This is the first time to my live stream. I would love to hear where you're tuning in from around the world. And so I'm tuning in here from Australia, and I feel called to come live and talk about Uluru and the fires that are breaking out and what's going on, and also what more to expect with what's coming up, because there is some pretty intense astrological energetic shifts coming on our planet as we head into 2020. Hey Leanne, hey Tamsin. I just come out of the Trust Intuition live stream support call, and I'm like, we started talking about this, and I'm like, I need to talk about this publicly, not just in here. So hey Greg, hey Tamsin, she is from the UK. Yay! Lots of people joining in on this Sunday morning or Sunday evening, depending on where you are around the world. So let me speak. I'll just quickly share this, and then we shall be here. I'll be present. All right, so there is a lot of there's a lot of stuff coming up, definitely. All right, I'm just gonna share this. I'm not being rude on my phone. I'm just being rude for a moment so I can concentrate, get it done, and come back. Hey Kelly. All right. Yeah, because I felt called to even do that rain activation before I went on live stream in the Reality Awareness, in my Trust Intuition group. And it just felt important to talk about dreams have been full on the last few days. Yes, a lot of my clients have said that too. Dreams have been really clear, intense, connected. So my take on what's happening, this is what's been coming through intuitively. You've been healing a lot today. Yeah, and it's so interesting, right? Because the fire is all about transformation. Yeah, and even with the Amazon fires recently, was that end of August? And that was, that kind of 8-9 months since Atlantis rose at the end of that dark patch, or it was like that dark patch, November, December, January, this gone. And then coming up like that, this December, January portal, it's been really dark for a lot of people now too. Even this time of year is that darkness. And it's kind of like when we look at darkness as a portal coming through the birth canal and we come out eventually, right? It can be hurtful. It can, there's a lot of transformation that goes on in the birthing process. And when we look at it like this, it's allowing ourselves to be supported fully in how we can really take care of ourselves to be able to get through these transformational birthing portals, okay? Now, with Uluru, and then the fires breaking out in northern New South Wales in Australia, the message that I've been getting is, like a lot of you guys have seen the Uluru posts going around, and, like for how many years, right? So Uluru, first of all, is the solar plexus, apparently, of the world. And the solar plexus is just below our heart. And it's our personal power. It's our self-esteem. So we either feel disempowered or we feel empowered, right? Hey, guys. We feel empowered or disempowered. Yeah, it's either being controlled or empowering each other in unity. Yeah? Now, when we look at being controlled, being controlled or not being controlled, like being suppressed, being, like shut down, like solar plexus, self-esteem, self-worth. It's believing in yourself. It's trusting yourself. It's trusting your intuition. How many people on the planet are starting to trust their intuition? Trust intuition is built in the solar plexus, and I created that in 2016, right? So interesting that, anyway, the point is that Uluru is the solar plexus. Now, when you think about the aspects of the solar plexus of being empowered or disempowered, controlled, disrespected, do you know what I mean? And so in Uluru, for how many years has it been shut down? Has it been trampled on? Like, people have walked on it. To the indigenous, you're not allowed to walk on it. Like, it's sacred ground. Like, it's like, do you know what I mean? And it was disrespected. Now, recently, as you guys have seen, the Uluru has been brought back to its space of being respected and honoured for what it is. Nobody's allowed to walk on it anymore, and the Indigenous have done a sacred ceremony to bring it back to life, basically. Now, how long ago was that? Now, all these fires are breaking out in the northern New South Wales. Now, the message that I've been getting about it, and it's just what's so interesting to me, is that couple weeks ago, maybe like around the time just before my birthday, so about 6 to 8 weeks ago, I was looking at moving to like that northern New South Wales area, like where all the fires are. I was looking around there, and there was like certain particular part of the area, and I was like, why am I so drawn to it? Like, for weeks I was looking at that, like properties and all that sort of thing. And then I discovered that the sapphire stone, crystal, gem is actually mined there. I'm sure there's other places around the world, but they mine it there in northern New South Wales. And I'm like, oh. And after I realized that sapphire is spiritual truth in the liquid crystals. It's deeply connected to the spiritual truth. It's deeply connected to the third eye. Now, the third eye is deeply connected to seeing the truth, relationships, seeing, like, do you know what I mean? Like, seeing the truth rather than being shut down to the truth. The third eye is also connected to liver and gallbladder. The liver and the gallbladder are located in the solar plexus. When we start seeing the truth, we can be quite angry, solar plexus, at the reality we are seeing. How much anger and disrespecting stuff, feeling better than, less than, disempowered, empowered, controlling, all solar plexus. Because we're angry at what we're seeing in the truth of our reality. Now, number one, we've just shifted out of third eye chakra consciousness into the ears, which is the balance. Hearing, opening, listening to the truth. Here we open at the crown. Here we see the truth of the reality. Here we listen and we take action, because the ears, the heart, and the base chakra are all connected. Now, when we look at the truth of the reality, the truth, the solar plexus, when Uluru is being shut down for this long, it creates a stagnation. It creates a stagnation in the solar plexus. It creates the fires being put out, the powers being put out. It's controlled. Now, when we're talking about masculine and feminine energies, the yang is the masculine, it's the expansion, it's the light. The feminine is the yin, it's the dark, it's the damp, it's the stagnant, it's the closed. Yeah? It's the whole. Now, when we look at those two energies, when something is shut down, it becomes stagnant. Yeah? The solar plexus of the earth, Uluru, has been shut down and trampled on and not respected for how long? Now, recently, it's been opened back to its natural state, so to speak, and been opened in ceremony back to what its purpose is, all of that, okay? It's been resurrected, yeah? What happens through fire? Transformation, resurrection through the fire, yeah? What is happening in northern New South Wales, and I know there's fires in other places as well, but it's just so interesting to me that I just happened to be looking to move there. I was like, why am I so drawn to this area? It was weird for me, right? And then I realized sapphire was mined there, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting, that sapphire is there, and now there's all these fires. Just so happens that Uluru, I don't even know how these fires started or not, but Uluru has been returned to its natural state. But when you can think about something as being shut down for a long time, what happens is it's going to flick into the extreme before it comes back into balance. Now, for me personally, what I'm understanding, intuitively receiving, is that Uluru has been shut down and now it's been opened back up. Yeah, and as fire burning, the stagnation, the transformation, fire burning through and releasing through all the anger and stagnation out. Yeah, the stagnation is being burnt out. Really getting that so strongly, right? Now, a lot of people have been doing past life stuff again recently, releasing the torture, releasing the chains from around the ankle. And we really look at energetically on a collective level, the solar plexus is about taking our power back and believing and trusting in ourselves and our intuition coming to life again. This is what's happening in that space. And I'm not disregarding any of the tragedy that's going on. And I did a rain activation previously. You can go and check it out to be able to help the souls pass over that have been lost in that tragedy. And through that sense there, so you can scroll down on my page and you'll see that rain activation that will bring the rain, and also to help the souls pass over that have gone in the fires. Yeah, I was gonna say something else then. Hey Lorraine. Yes, haven't seen you for ages. Okay, Tamsin says a lot stemming back to childhood mother issues. Interesting, right? Mother issues. When we look at Uluru being shut down, it's the yin, right? The yin and the yang. That's anything that's shut down becomes stagnant, becomes black, it becomes damp, it becomes yin, yeah, moldy, all of that. It's just Uluru has been opened, backed up, respected. It's like flicked into the extreme, and then it will come back into balance. The yin is feminine, the yin is mother, the masculine is father, the masculine is the yang. Yeah, a lot of people have been dealing with abandonment wounds, with mother wounds, with feminine issues, yeah, because of this coming to light. Yeah, the yin, yes. Thanks, Emma. The fairies, yeah, it's the earth. Connection to the earth. Tinkerbell films. I healed my slit throat a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so interesting. We were just talking about that in Trust Intuition a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, being cut at the truth. Yeah, not being like, like not being held down anymore. Like that stagnation, that mother wound is all coming up. That, there's the goddess activation happening through Bali. Like all that energy. Like when we look at Bali, it's a very yin, stagnant in a way. It's a black energy. Yeah, it's not bad. It's the yin. It's a delicate balance on the planet. Yeah, definitely. All right, is there anything else that I need to share about Uluru, the fires, the stagnation? Is there anything else? Oh yes, okay, this is the other thing I want to talk about, right? So the other day, I think I posted the other day actually, everybody is free. Balancing has been key this week, and the yin yang sign, yes. Everybody is free. Everybody is free on this planet. The shutdown of Uluru and now the reopening has allowed us to not be locked in chains anymore. Now, the thing is that everybody is free, but not everybody takes that freedom. Now, randomly, I opened A Course in Miracles the other day. Where is it? And I put a little page mark. I was just like, woof, okay, this one, okay, out of this little paragraph here, this one teaching, this one paragraph. Prisoners bound with heavy chains for years, starved and emaciated, weak and exhausted, with eyes so long cast down in darkness, they remember not the light. Do not leap up in joy when they are instantly made free. It takes a while for them to understand what freedom is. You groped but feebly in the dust and found your brother's hand, uncertain whether to let it go or to take hold on life so long forgotten. Strengthen your hold and raise your eyes unto your strong companion, in whom the meaning of your freedom lies. He seemed to be crucified beside you, and yet his holiness remained untouched and perfect. And with him beside you, you shall this day enter with him to paradise and know the peace of God. Right? You bought a balanced keychain the other day. I have been breaking free, right? And this is the thing, that so many people are free, but when we have that freedom, we're like whether we're scared of it or we're just so used to a certain way of being. And this is why it takes people time to change. Some people don't change because we're so habitually ingrained into this certain way of being that sometimes it can take a massive flick to the other scale for then people go, and we come back into balance, because sometimes we need that wake up. We were just talking about this in Trust Intuition as well this morning, that sometimes, like, what is it going to take people to wake up? People can wake up, and as I was sharing in Trust Intuition this morning too, we can fly through something and we can know it, but are we actually embodying it? Are we, like, experience? Wisdom comes from the experience of living it, of being it, not just knowing it. We stay stuck in our head, hence we stay stuck in the chains, because the embodiment, the actual subconscious, the actual living it is where the chains are. We've got all the tools and the knowledge to change, but do we? Do we actually break those chains? Do we take those chains off? Like, the chains are off, but are you actually doing it? Right? So Tamsin says, I want to know what triggered me so much with my mum. All purpose is brought up for protection of my energy, and plans gave me a fuckload of stuff to ride through, more boundaries put in place. Yeah, so, I mean, anything that comes up to trigger us is something that we are needing to look at, right? So we can look at the trigger. We can look at a trigger as a chain being released. We can look at a trigger as a chain being released, right? Prisoners bound with heavy chains for years, starved and emaciated, weak and exhausted, and with eyes so long cast down in the darkness, they remember not the light. They remember not the light. When that trigger happens, the chain is released. It takes them a while to understand what freedom are. They do not leap up in joy the instant they are made free. As soon as that chain comes off, that trigger, we're not like, yeah, I'm free. It's like, what the fuck's happening here? That's not right. This is not normal. This is not my normal way of being. Something has woken me up. Trigger is a wake up. What's it going to take to wake up? It didn't a little bit. It didn't. So in that sense, right, it's kind of like looking at the triggers as a chain coming off. Are you going to take the depth of what that chain coming off has given you? Or are you going to keep, like, are you going to stay stuck with that chain? Yeah? So looking at that, it's like, it can take a bit, and it's like, this is why it's so important to be around people who are living and being in a place where you want to be, because otherwise we're still bound by the chains without that step up. Yeah? Without that next step up. So when we look at what's happening on a collective consciousness level, and Uluru being freed, and now the power being distributed equally, and the other part about that northern New South Wales region, like off the coast of Byron Bay, like off northern New South Wales, there's a big shelf of black obsidian in the ocean. Now, black obsidian is true self-reflection, if I'm understanding correctly, wherever my liquid crystal book is. I'm pretty sure it's true self-reflection from the liquid crystals. That Byron Bay and all that northern New South Wales area, like, the Indigenous never stayed there. They would go there for healing and then they would leave. Now, a lot of people go crazy, and there's a lot of high drug use and all that sort of jazz around that area because of that connection that's not grounded into the earth. It's not grounded into the body. People stay in that high rather than actually being grounded in what they're meant to do, or like receiving the healing and taking that into wisdom instead of it just being here in the knowledge, just talking about again, right? Now, what's interesting to me is that it feels like that same suppression almost of the disrespect of the land in a way, right? And it's kind of weird that I'm even saying this, and I feel nervous saying this because, the hippies are supposed to be the most loving and caring of the environment, yet at the same time not respecting, such a judgment, I can't believe I'm even saying this, not even respecting the nature of the environment there, in the purpose of the land, like from the Indigenous culture, right? They're probably going to lose followers and have all sorts of shit from this, but in that sense, it is that, right? And when we look at that area and what's happening with the burning, it's the same as releasing from Uluru and the stagnation that was once holding it down is now set free, and it's like flicks. I just feel like everywhere there's stagnation burning, like the yin is I don't know, like, you know, to release mold from the system. What gets rid of mold? Like what is the cure for mold on the planet? Like, you know, or in a cupboard or whatever's moldy, like what creates that? What creates mold is a stagnation of energy, a denseness of energy, or like a black stagnation of energy, a very yin space, cold, damp, moldy stagnation. What kills mold is the light, is the heat. Yeah, and I just feel like the fires are just like ripping through and burning away all the stagnation. Now, clover oil kills, yeah, so does the sun. So does the sun, so does fire. Yeah, the sun. Uluru is the solar plexus, is yellow. The solar plexus is yellow, is the sun. Our sun gives light, it gives power. Like in light field yoga for the solar plexus is the power pole. It's the power pole of energy that runs through the rest of our chakras, down and above. It gives light of the sun to the rest of our chakras. The sun is the power center. The sun is masculine. The sun is our solar plexus. It's a masculine chakra. It's the sun that lights up and gives sun to the other chakras, that burns away all that stagnation and mold from the body. Now, moving into 2020, I do personally intuitively feel that things are going to get quote unquote worse, not better. Now, of course, I feel like there will be a lift in like beginning of December. I feel like there'll be a lift in energy, but then I feel like it's going to go woof. Now, whether that means natural disasters or other things, like I don't really know, but I know that it's not going to get easier before it gets better. Like that's my personal intuitive take on what's moving into, like until about March, April, I don't feel like the energy is going to settle down at all. Okay, so what do we do about this? We continue to take back our power. Yeah, all those things that we've been suppressed about are no longer being suppressed. All those things that are coming up, we're seeing the truth of the reality. We're taking back our power. You know what I mean? So it's like coming back into balance. And sometimes that means going, like when you lift a lid off something that's like busting to get out for so long, it goes woof, and then it'll come back into balance. Yeah. I don't feel like it's going to get easier before it gets better. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's going to get harder. I'm not saying that to scare people. I'm saying that to prepare. I'm saying that, you know, like people are like, when's this gonna end? And I'm like, guys, this is like the new energy, right? When we look into, you know, the 2020 and beyond, like the next 10 years, decade, the age of light, like if there really is a huge influx of light coming into the planet and a huge shift in consciousness, what happens to the structures? There's a destruction before there's a construction. We have to knock down the old house before we build the new one. Of course, we can renovate it, but what happens? We still need to clean out all the shit, right? If there's a big influx of light coming in the next 20 years, the next 10 years, you know, this next decade in the age of Aquarius of light, it's not going to be an easy ride. So don't wait till like things are going to get better and then start taking care of yourself. Like, no, like how we actually adjust to the new energies coming in on the planet is we evolve with them. The ones who are going to survive, you know how they, you know, all these predictions and stuff, there's going to be a mass wipeout on the planet of humans. It's like, yeah, they're the ones that are not waking up and coming with it. The ones that are, you know, like not willing to self-heal and actually take radical responsibility and actually get into amazing shape and look after their health and their body and all those things, that it's able to anchor in those vibrations of light that are coming into the planet as we speak now. Like this past week, you might have felt like vibrations in your body or like shifts in your organs or like actually like vibrating bodies. Like this is the upgrades of your system, and if you're not taking the radical responsibility to support your physical body to shift with these vibrations, then you are going to feel exhausted, then you are going to feel drained, then you are going to feel that because your physical body is not able to house the waves of ascension or whatever it is that's coming in. that helps to embody us like to the next level. Do you know what I mean? Like we need to adjust our physical body to move with our soul rather than being able to be, you know, otherwise we're wiped by it. That's the mass wipeout. That's it, right? Okay, just got into our flow. Mass release, mass growth, evolution. Yeah. High perspective and holding the knowing things happen for us and not to us. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? This is where we're taking that radical responsibility and adjusting our physical body to embody that, house that level of light. Like what is actually happening is our soul is actually getting into our body to house that. Our physical body is like, oh, we're taking radical responsibility and we're doing all these things. Why? So that your soul can come into your body, because your soul is the vibration that is the connection to source, to the light, whatever. And so we're housing that in, right? And if you're not taking the radical responsibility to look after your physical health and your physical life and all the things in your physical reality, then things are going to feel harder. Things are going to feel like, when's this going to end? Like it's not going to end. This is us adjusting to this new vibration, right? Just made a vision board. Awesome. And anchor was a key on there. Yes, so we can anchor in, yeah? Anchor in these higher vibrations by simply pushing little notch on your finger to anchor in the high vibrations when you feel good. So when you feel low, you can pick yourself back up faster, right? Use your gift. Don't let it use you. That takes radical responsibility of all aspects of your reality, including your physical life. I get what you mean. So hard and I love it. Yeah. Yeah. It's time to take radical responsibility. Become the fire of transformation, right? All right. Inspiration and triggers is not a time to rest. I feel there's a lot suppressed. Float or drown kind of thing I'm getting. Yes, and this is especially that portal between Christmas and the 12th of January. It's going to be intense. Like it's going to be like, you know, like you're going to want to give up. You're going to want to, you know, like all those things like a lot of people are doing now. But it's kind of like we either do it or you don't. This is the wipeout. This is you're either choosing to step up and do it or you're not. Like you're either dying or you're thriving. It's the choice. To embody the light or not. To let your soul be housed and activated in your body or not. Yeah? Which we've got the light body activation in the full moon ceremony in 2 nights. On Tuesday night, we're doing that. Well, Tuesday night, Australian Eastern Standard Time. On the full moon, I'm being guided to take you guys through a light body activation. So you can scroll down my page to see the full moon ceremony there. Protection of own energy and being aware and not taking on others in such an energetic, sweet time. Yeah, and that comes from taking radical responsibility of your life in all areas. All areas. Yeah? All right, and I feel like that is the message that has needed to come through for today. I love you and leave you guys. Please share if you feel like this can help somebody with the intense energies that are going on the planet right now. It is up to us to take radical responsibility. If you would like support, please send me a message, and please don't be afraid to send me a message, because a lot of people I'm getting messages from people saying, I'm actually being scared to message you. And I'm like, don't, just message me. I've got lots of resources that can help. And this is what I do, working with people one-on-one. All right, Greg says 26th of December is Capricorn new moon. It's the ideal time to initiate the transformation. I love that. And start to come into alignment with the next evolutionary step over 2020. Awesome. Thank you, Greg. Greg is an amazing astrologer, guys. If you want your chart read, go and see Greg. He's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, powerful time there to really ground that in. So I love it. Okay, see you guys soon. Love you.